Hello and welcome to the final of my 4 shows where I've just been taking a short break from the show. 4 years non-stop was wearing me down a little bit because I'm not getting any younger. So for the July I've been away, well, apart from last week when I did a special little bit on low-cost travel group. And all things will be back to normal for my first show in August. On this repeat show, we're talking the Houses of Parliament tours, we're talking Zagreb, and I'll speak to a consumer expert as well. So it's quite a mixed show. And we're going to start off with the Houses of Parliament. My first guest is Tracy West. Tracy's speaking about tours around the Houses of Parliament. I'm not sure if you've been watching the Inside the Commons programme on TV. I found it very interesting. And I'm not following the trends on TV, I have to be honest. I did arrange this ages ago. But when there's that bad accident on the M1, it took me 4 hours to get from junction 11 to junction 12, and I missed the chance to interview Tracy, so I'm catching up on that. The interview comes about as I found out that you can go up to the tower with Big Ben, the Elizabeth Tower as it's called now, and I couldn't do it, as you may remember a few shows back, because of the election coming, and they're not booking any visits to it now. But I wanted to know what else you can see and do there, so Tracy's coming on now. She's going to tell us all we need to know about going to see the Houses of Parliament and see what the place looks like from the inside, because I'm sure everybody has seen it from the outside.
There are 3 tours. There's audio tours. They're self-guided, and you can go around at your own pace with a headset or earphones. Then there's a family version of the audio tour aimed at children aged 7 to 10. And thirdly, there are guided tours which you can go around with in a group with a personal tour guide. They're available in English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Russian, and Mandarin.
Quite a choice then.
Yeah.
Are there any restrictions on the people who are allowed to take part in these tours?
Yep. Photography is only available in Westminster Hall and St Stephen's Hall, and this is for security reasons. And guests aren't allowed to sit on the chairs in the House of Commons and House of Lords chambers, and that's just a respect thing, I think.
Okay. You mentioned security restrictions. Is there anything people should be aware of before they turn up?
Yep, on arrival at the Houses of Parliament, you'll be directed to pass through airport-style security searches. So you need to turn up about, we recommend, 20 to 30 minutes before the tour to pass through security.
Yeah, I work at an airport part-time, so I know how long those checks can take.
You feel the pain. They're really good, though. They've been trained to deal with a wide range of people, so there's no need to be nervous.
Well, the lot I go through have been trained specially to be grumpy no matter who you are. It's just one of the things.
Exactly.
How does somebody go ahead to book a members tour?
So members tours are slightly different. They're only available to UK residents and must be sponsored by a Member of Parliament or a member of the House of Lords. It's best to telephone your local MP's office who can arrange this for you.
Is there a cost involved in this?
For the members' tours, they're free of charge, but for the other tours that we spoke about earlier, there are charges, and I'll talk about those later on.
Okay. So what can you see when you're on a members' tour?
So you get to see the Royal State Apartments, the House of Commons and the House of Lords chambers, Central Lobby, St Stephen's Hall and Westminster Hall. So it's a unique combination of 1,000 years of history, modern-day politics and stunning art and architecture. It's basically what you get to see if you watch the state opening of Parliament and a little bit more.
Okay, that sounds quite good. Actually, I've been watching the programme on telly the last few weeks.
Yeah, I know. Everyone has. It seems to have generated quite a lot of interest, which is great for us.
Yeah, it's not so good if you're on a waiting list, though, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So are the ones you don't have to go through your local MP for, are they similar? Or does the MP tour give you something extra?
Yeah, they're the same.
Okay.
It's just that there's more availability for those because the members' tours can only happen when the MPs aren't, like, there's less availability.
Okay.
So it's exactly the same thing but less availability. And sometimes because the MPs' tours happen when the House is in session, you occasionally don't get to see quite as much of the line of route.
Okay. With the audio tours, how does that work? Do you have to walk to a certain pace or do you press play and pause? I've never done one.
Okay, so the audio tours are self-guided. So you go round at your own pace with a headset and earphones, and the audio commentary features leading parliamentary figures such as Mr Speaker and Black Rod. A family version of the audio tour, as I said, aimed at children 7 to 12, is available in English, and the engaging commentary is in the style of a live news broadcast with travelling time reporters. It's quite good fun, actually. And they report from the scene on stories associated with the Houses of Parliament going back in history.
What would you say is the highlight of a guided tour?
I think it's different for everyone. So some people come for the history, so they like Westminster Hall, they like to see the big old wooden roof. Some people come for the politics, so they like to stand at the debate, like the boxes, and pretend they're debating. And other people like the art, so they tend to like the painting. So it's a bit different for everyone.
Mm-hmm. I recently had tried through my MP to do the Big Ben and Elizabeth Tower tour, but I was told that I couldn't because the election was coming up. So if you have got a tour of the Big Ben and the Elizabeth Tower and it's been altered or cancelled due to state business, do you jump the queue to come back, or do you have to wait again?
Yes. So what happens is, because it's a working building, when the MPs go into dissolution, which is the run-up to the election, they all cease to become MPs. So anything that they have got booked gets cancelled. But because we know it's a dissolution, we don't book tours. We don't tend to book tours during this time for members' tours. But anything that gets booked and cancelled is obviously on a priority rebooking.
Okay, I didn't get that far to get on the priority rebooking. I'll just have to wait until after May, I guess.
Yeah, I think it depends on the MP's office as well, because the MP's office has to have internal administration going on with the Central Tours office. So sometimes a little bit gets lost between the MP's office and the place that controls the tours.
You're listening to The Travel Show with John Guinn on ukhealthradio.com. Just before the short break, we're talking about the Elizabeth Tower and applying for it. And now we're going to talk about being successful and getting a ticket to do the tour. We're now going to find out what you can see once you take part.
The Elizabeth Tower tour is it's 339 stairs up to the top, and you get to see behind the clock faces, and you also get to see Big Ben chime. And it depends on the hour that you go, how many chimes you see. But you get a unique view of the top, which is quite a good view of London. It depends on the weather, but usually you can see quite far out over London.
There can't have been many people who've seen that view then, I guess.
No, it's really something. It's great.
Are you able to take photographs from the top?
No, you're not allowed to take photographs.
Okay, it's all a memory thing then.
Yeah, it's good memory though. I still can shut my eyes and see myself walking behind those clock faces.
Okay. I can still see myself being extremely tired by the time I got to the top of the stairs.
They do stop. They've got stops along the way, so they do. But it is something to bear in mind. It can be quite a lot of exercise. So just something to bear in mind if you're not so good on your feet or it's a long way to the top. There's a cafe at the bottom, so you can just sit and have a cup of tea if you'd rather.
Yeah, I'm built for going downstairs but not going up. It's just the way I am. There's a limited available contemporary portrait pictures. I'm not very good at pronunciation. At Portcullis House. What other special tours have been available in the past, and are there any new ones coming?
So we've got the Banners exhibition that's up in Westminster Hall at the moment, and that talks about democracy over the years, because obviously this year is quite a special year for Parliament. Got a few anniversaries going on. We have Royalty and Splendour tours of the House of Lords, where you get unique access to yourself of the House of Lords, and it talks about the portraiture and the art, and at the end you get a glass of champagne. And new ones that are planned. Watch this space. I think it depends on what exhibitions we get going, and if there's anything special, we highlight it and just put it on the website for people to have a look. So watch this space, really. Okay.
Speaking of your website, I've had a look, and some of the tours come with an afternoon tea option. Where is the tea served?
So the tea is served in the terrace pavilion overlooking the River Thames. Quite a nice place to sort of sit and look out.
Do you cater for those with specific diets, such as me, who's a vegan who doesn't drink tea?
Yes, so we have vegetarian and gluten-free diets. They can be accommodated. And unfortunately, afternoon tea is not suitable for those that require a dairy-free diet. But for those who don't drink tea, there's freshly brewed coffee, water or orange juice.
Okay, I'll be on water and orange juice then. Just never been into hot drinks, never ever.
I'm a tea addict. I'm so sorry. We're like the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think it's too late for me to change now. I'm never going to do it.
Me too.
The tours are obviously it's an old building. How accessible is it for people to get around?
Yeah, obviously we are a listed building, and the lifts that we've got are in the old chimney stacks, interestingly.
Mm-hmm.
All tours are accessible for wheelchair users. Alternative routes and viewing points exist for visitors with the larger motorised wheelchairs. On the stop, we require a slight detail before rejoining the main group just for one stop. Mm-hmm. And for visitors who are deaf or who have hearing loss, a screen-based version of the audio tour is available in British Sign Language. We have free tactile tours for visually impaired guests, and tours run between 10 and 12 times a year, usually late on a Friday afternoon, and they last approximately 2 hours. There are opportunities to explore objects and tactilely touch the furniture on the tour route itself as well.
Having a screen-based version with somebody doing sign language never would have come to me. That seems a really great idea.
Because it's actually an audio tour, if you think,
mm-hmm.
but audio tour for deaf doesn't sound right, but it actually has the words underneath. So we've had great feedback from that, actually. Yeah. So happy to be able to do that. It's great.
Yeah. So how do we find out more about the tours that are on offer?
So they're online at www.parliament.uk/visiting, or contact the Visit Parliament team, who are really friendly, and they're on 0207 219 4114. Okay,
thanks Tracy. Thank you for your time.
Okay, John, thanks very much.
You can follow me on Twitter at holiday_hut. My next guest is Sarah Willingham. She's a consumer champion. She writes various columns on how to get the best deals for your money when you come to make purchases. If you're not too sure who Sarah is, I thought it'd be best to start off with an introduction about how she can help people, how she can help consumers when it comes to saving money.
My name is Sarah Willingham. I'm a consumer champion, and I have a website, letssavemoney.com.
The reason for the call is because of a press release that's gone out about hotel Wi-Fi charges. What did you find when you were looking at Wi-Fi charges at hotels?
It is very interesting, actually, the study from Amber Hotels looking at various different the charges of Wi-Fi across the hotels, because they do vary,
mm-hmm.
and it shows two things. I think one, the impact that it can have on your pocket if you choose the wrong hotel and if you need Wi-Fi. And two, I think the impact that it actually has on your life if you choose the wrong one, because, I mean, I know from actually very recent experience, I happen to have travelled quite a lot during January, and both places I've been to had quite poor Wi-Fi connections, and it meant on more than one occasion